The way that we can understand our relationship patterns the best, the most effectively, and our patterns with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, is by understanding our relationship blueprint. I already explained this in depth in my last video, but there is a metaphor that is really helpful when I explain this to my clients. So assuming again that relationship blueprint is created around the bond that we have with our caregiver, we can think of that bond like a path in the forest. And when we think of that, there can be rocks, sticks, big rocks in the way, different terrain in the way, in that path. But for this blueprint, for our attachment, the way that we are scientifically wired is no matter what is in that path, no matter how rocky it is, no matter what the terrain, we will need to be able to consistently reach the end of that path. So what do? We adapt, and we adapt very well. If we say that, let's say there's rocks or gravel on the ground, maybe we develop calluses on our feet. Maybe there's a giant stream, and so we get really good at flying right over that stream really, really fast, because when we need to get to the other side of that path quickly to feel safe, we have to be efficient. Survival is on the other side, then we have to live and breathe those things so well that we don't even have to actually think about it. And that means it gets stored, shaped into our subconscious. It means that it's automatic. And that is what a lot of these relationship patterns or things that we do in relationships end up looking like. The way that we jump to conclusions, certain beliefs, the way that we might shut down or react in our relationships happens so quickly, sometimes in ways that we don't notice or understand when they're happening. And that is not because there's something broken within us, not because there's something wrong, but because we adapted to a specific blueprint early on. Being in relationship now, it is all that we know for certain situations. If all we ever saw was somebody criticize themselves or us when we tried to show vulnerability, then that is all we knew, and that is all we are going to assume when we are in that position again. Think about being vulnerable with somebody now, in the now. We are going to feel what that feeling of rejection or criticism might have felt like. We're going to go right there because that is the shortcut, because that was the shortcut to keeping that bond preserved, is by internalizing those mechanisms. Again, this blueprint is something that most people don't end up seeing or understanding, and it is because it is operating more subconsciously. The way that we begin to kind of understand or get an idea that something's going on is through patterns, is through noticing cues or things repeating, misalignments in our relationships, or things that we don't like experiencing, like low confidence or difficulty in our own bodies and emotions, anxiety, any patterns within us or within our relationships that repeat. Like I mentioned in the last video, many of us have a way of either compartmentalizing this, pushing this to the side, or rationalizing these things in some way, because it is humanly difficult to take those things in, those flaws potentially, and try to understand why they're happening. That is why most people don't get into these patterns and starting to unravel them and being able to experience peace. But when we do begin to understand these things as patterns, as this blueprint, this wiring that we didn't ask for, but that we went through and experienced and adapted to, that is when that understanding can start to lead to processing, de-internalizing some of those unhealthy beliefs and shortcuts, and being aware of them while they do happen, making them conscious so that we can actually impact them and change them before they have an effect on our relationships, on our lives.